Now we're going to listen to Mr. Dakdok, his mentor, supposed expert in the Arabic language, in his defense. So let's see whether he reads the Arabic text any better. Focus and listen.
وما ينسينك الشيطان.
وما ينسينك. He read وما ينسينك. I mean, what can I say? I mean, you bring people who are supposedly expert, can't even read the basic text that's there in the screen. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillah. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah wa ala alihi wa man wala. Yes, interesting. It is indeed. I did a reaction video, a very simple one, a while back, to illustrate someone who goes about in other Christian channels to present himself as an authority, who doesn't need the tafsirs of the Quran, the exegesis of the Qurans, doesn't need to resort to the Hadith. He's going to go directly to the pure Arabic to show to his Christian audience that he is indeed an expert himself who has access to the language directly. And I thought that's interesting. Who is these individuals? Never heard of him. And he's come to one of the YouTube live streams, I think, if I remember, to one of the Christian speaker that goes frequently in Speaker's Corner. I thought, okay, that's interesting. Let's see who he's trying to fool. So it's appeared that he is trying to present a case as an authority, himself directly having access to the language. I thought, okay, fine, let's see what it is, because not every day you see people claiming to have that kind of access and information at their disposal. So as I watched that out of interest and curiosity, I realized he's making a lot of simple reading blunders. And these are not pronunciations, as we will see, as he's trying to do the damage control. So what happened is I just focused on a few sample examples where his reading shows how he's not an authority. He doesn't have direct access to language to even explain to his Christian audience that indeed he's able to explain it from the original, from the primary language, what it means, without resorting to the commentaries or without resorting to the Hadith, which explains it, or even translations in his own words, even without any resorting to any translations. He's going directly to the language. So as things progressed, what happened over the months, maybe he became exposed to a larger community what a fraud he is indeed in this matter. And of course his reputation has been affected. Not many people are giving really any credibility at all in terms of his proficiency in the language or in the knowledge of the language itself to have direct access to its meaning. So he's trying to now do a damage control. I recently came across from others that he's been getting some help to mitigate the damage that he has done through his inadequacy in the language, showing to his crowd that he's not one to be even listened to because he has not even the slightest basic knowledge of the language of Arabic itself. So he's invited someone, presumably again from their interactions, like his teacher, his mentor, maybe another authority in Arabic, and maybe another expert. But we will see whether he did any better than this individual himself, the one he's seeking. Okay, that's his name, Seeker. So astonishingly, what we notice is that as he goes along, at one point he focuses on mainly that he's only pronouncing it wrong. Pronunciation, like you have different accents. So his damage control is not admitting that he has no knowledge of the language itself, how to read, because reading of Arabic language means you need to know the Arabic grammar. I mean, this wasn't even the case there most of the time. It was simply reading with the vowel marks that was placed within the verses, because he's just reading from Quran.com. That even actually pronounces the words for him if he were to click, and he does that often, and then he realizes he's reading it wrong and still doesn't admit it. So he's not reading the fatha, dhamma, kasra, not only that right, because that changes the meaning, how you place the i'rab, the grammar on a particular word. It can become the subject, can become the object, and object can become the subject, and like that. And he also doesn't know how to read what is on the screen, totally read something totally different. That means he doesn't have even the basic knowledge of the letters. Okay, this is not a pronunciation, it's the letters, how to read the letters. Okay, and presents himself as if he is knowledgeable in the Arabic grammar. This particular word is in this form, this is what it means, this is how it should be understood, and this is what we will see. So it has nothing to do with pronunciation. So his defense to his crowd was, I am only pronouncing it slightly differently, so why are you going to blame me for it? And then later he brings someone else to show, look, there are others who read it wrong, and they read it wrong differently, even with wrong reading of letters and words and grammars like that. So it's not about pronunciation there. So he admits the other individual who brings for his support is actually making not only pronunciation errors. So he contradicts himself from the very beginning, like it's all to his pronunciation. So we are going to now see whether indeed it was pronunciation and he's trying to save his face, or it even gets worse for him. His lies getting exposed, and there will be more lies to expose. And the teacher that he brings as an expert, a professional, whether he does any better, whether he is indeed a teacher, a knowledgeable expert in the Arabic language himself, this particular individual that he invites for his aid and for his support. So it's like two birds with one stone, and especially two birds who are incompetent. So it's a bonus for everyone listening to this particular reaction video of mine. Will help you to understand how one ignorant individual brings another ignorant individuals, professing both of them as if they are the experts and presenting themselves as authoritative individuals in their respective communities. So let us see what he has to say.
I'm not an Arabic expert, by the way. That's also a lie, that you assumed I'm an Arabic expert. And the only thing that you did...
I didn't assume you're an Arabic expert. You presented yourself to be one, directly going into the language. That's what you claimed. We will see what you actually said a little bit later on. So it's not a matter of assumption. It's something that was obvious in the stream when you went there. So this is a self-proclamation that you made by your interaction with the individual.
For 12 minutes is, my pronunciation is not correct, and you are laughing on my pronunciation. That's it. Is that how you defend your God?
I wasn't defending my God. My God doesn't need defending, number one. Secondly, I wasn't even dealing with your arguments. There's nothing there in my original video that I made a claim that I'm defending your arguments. I'm not interested in your arguments. I don't think you're worth even responding to, first of all. But because you presented yourself as an authority in the Arabic language, that was my concern. And same thing here now today. I am not defending your argument. I don't have to. You simply did not even comprehend the very language that you are presenting yourself, interacting with the others in English language. There's nowhere that I've even mentioned that I'm defending the argument. In the response video that you made to save your face with your so-called expert, you're making the same issue again, that I haven't defended the argument. I wasn't defending any arguments. I'm not making an argument. I'm not defending an argument. I'm simply showing how irrelevant you are, and how you're relevant to your teacher would be now from this video. And I'm showing how people would confirm that you are not an authority in Islam or in the Arabic language to have direct knowledge of it to make an assessment of the claims that you're making. So this is the original video that I made a while back. Why I made it in the first place? Was I defending or trying to argue against your argument, or simply what led me to make that video at that time? So this is what I said.
I'm not even going to go on any translation. I don't care what the translation says. I don't care what the tafsir says. I don't care what the hadith says. We will look at the pure Arabic of the Quran of the Musaf al-Hafs.
Wow.
And I'll prove it to you.
So you see, this is what you claimed. You're not going to look into translations. You're not going to look into the tafsirs or even the hadith. You will go directly into Musaf al-Hafs, pure Arabic. So not only just going direct to the Arabic language that you're going to now read and explain, but you would focus on the Hafs Mus'haf. That means the one that you're reading from Quran.com with all the vowels already in there. So you can't read the wash reading in there while it's actually diacritic or vowelized according to the Hafs reading. So you cannot make a claim you can read anywhere you like, because what you're reading, what's there in the text, already printed, already digitized, and in front of you on your screen with the vowels there. So by simply saying it's a pronunciation, it's really bad. So let's continue.
Because at the end of the day, the only thing that you have is a pronunciation is not correct. Pronunciation is not correct. What else have you answered? I can actually run the whole 12 minutes of you abusing and shouting that my pronunciation is not correct. But did you actually answer any of what I actually said?
That wasn't my intent. I mean, I hope you don't have a big comprehension issue like we are noticing with every single Christian ex-Muslim apologists. I wasn't arguing anything about your argument. I was simply showing how you are deficient in even the basic reading. When I say reading, is how you even read a text. Occasionally we make mistakes here and there because we're looking at a screen, right? It's possible because you look at a screen and you try to read, and because it's far away from you, maybe you can just misread some words but consistently, and by reading it wrong, and especially when the cases like this, you're reading a scripture, and especially reading the Quran, of course, it's nothing to do with pronunciation. And I excused you from your pronunciation, like Muzillillah and Muzil and so on, with how a lot of our Asian community can make mistakes in the letters like wa and dal and tha. It's well known. So I wasn't holding you accountable for that. I was holding you accountable for not even reading the language. Okay, so it's nothing to do with your pronunciation, and it wasn't nothing to do with your argument. Your argument can be easily refuted. Come to our channel, Dawahwise. We do live streaming Thursdays. Go to Hamza's Den, the arena, and come and defend your argument if you're able to. I hope you don't feel shy away from coming and defending your argument, presenting your case, because that's what we invite people to do. So it's not about going to your channel. Come to us and present your case and see whether you're able to. Of course, you will have the intellectual maturity to come to our channels. I hope so. And I sincerely hope that you have that intellectual maturity to indeed make that step if you're able to do so. Let's move on.
And Allah is then, Quran chapter number 7, verse number 27.
So let's see whether you are actually simply in that video making claims about your pronunciation, or whether you were presenting yourself as an expert in the Arabic language, its grammar, its etymology, its syntax, and so on. Or simply you were just trying to read with a bad pronunciation, with a bad accent. Here's an example which has nothing to do with an accent that you're trying to present.
Allah is saying, beware of the Satan, that he is going to create fitna.
يفتننكم.
That he will, when you say ya in the beginning, it is connected with the person who is doing that. So ya bani Adam,
So yeah, connected with the beginning of. So you are actually now giving us lesson in the Arabic grammar, not of pronunciation.
do not let the Satan. Makar is another synonym.
Another example. So he's going to tell us about Arabic language and its synonyms. So nothing to do with pronunciation.
For yakhda or yukhadi'un means from them, from they, adding in a plural, in a sense of.
What are you saying again? Yukhadi'una, he's trying to now make this the sarf of this word and trying to explain away how the word can be understood within this conjugation.
Connecting the verb. Yakhda is a synonym of makar. So if you think makar cannot be used in deception,
It is.
So he's saying yakhda is a synonym of makar. I mean, I'm not going to laugh anymore, because let the people have the laugh on you. Because yakhda is not a synonym of makar, because yakhda is not that form, because you're totally transposing two different forms of things to say one is a synonym of another. So this is not an example of you presenting yourself only having a bad pronunciation, as you claim, but rather you're making claims of having knowledge of the Arabic language and its synonyms of the words and so on. Okay, so you've invited an expert. Well, maybe he's not an expert, because after this video you will say, just like I didn't claim to be an expert, I don't think he's an expert too. Well, maybe let's see how you respond back. So you've invited someone, Mr. Dakdok, okay, and see how he aids in your support.
How to find some excuse not to talk about the subject, not to talk about the problem, that we have a problem. Houston, Allah is Satan, and somehow Adam does not speak very clear Arabic. He mispronounced that word or this word. Allah.
So again, he's trying to support you by saying this is all about mispronunciation, but that it was never the case. So again, from the very outset, is this an example of dishonesty, lack of intellectual integrity? We will see as we go along.
Allah himself in the Quran does not know jack about Arabic, or why in the world we have hundreds of words who are they're not Arabic, and they're in the Quran. So if Allah does not know Arabic, you think you know Arabic better than Allah, Adam?
Alhamdulillah, I do not know. By the way, yes, with Allah, comparative to Allah, the Quran, yes, I know better Arabic.
So you have now an expert. I shouldn't call him an expert, should I? You have now his mentor coming in and saying Allah doesn't know Arabic, and now Adam professing, Mr. Seeker, that he knows better Arabic than Allah as well. So now he's got the boost, the confidence to come back to his the ego that he had some, loss of due to the video that I made. Now he's being rejuvenated with this ego issue again. Now he knows better Arabic than Allah. Okay, so that's now you have the individuals, how they go about in their authoritative stance in the Arabic language. So let's see further.
The argument that he took is Allah caused you to forget. Shaitan caused you to forget. But what he's saying is, check this out. He's just picking up the word that I did not pronounce correctly. Nunsiha or yunsiha, that he causes you to. So I'm not even reading what it says. I'm just saying that yunsiha, nunsiha is this. Right? Check this out is the response.
So what he's trying to defend here is he wasn't reading or trying to read what's there on the screen, but he's simply referring to something, another word he's apparently read earlier. And I am holding him accountable for not pronouncing those words. And his mentor is observing him closely. Let's see how he understands.
By the way, Yunsiha is right, Nunsiha is right, depend who is forgetting.
Exactly. Perfect.
Yeah, but I wasn't even arguing or asking people to focus on this yunsiha, nunsiha that you're trying to say. I was simply arguing on the point where on the screen, as you can see in green, this word that you were reading it wrong. It's a totally different word, which you tried to read it and got it wrong. And of course, you're now trying to save face by saying it wasn't this word.
Yes.
No, it's not. It wasn't the base word. You've just read something totally wrong from the ayah itself. Even the app, the Quran.com, had it recited when you click this.
So when I click this, it Quran app recited, but I was not even saying this word. I was telling you what the words were. Nunsiha, yunsiha.
To note, he made a claim here. He wasn't even trying to read this word. He was trying to say something else. Yunsiha, nunsiha, right? So if it turns out to be that he was indeed reading this word, he was trying to read this word, then that will be obvious to his mentor now, which if he has missed already by his, ingenious manipulation of his video, then hopefully he should call him out for speaking untruth or a lie. So let's continue.
Brother, see how they deceive their own people, and their people listens to them, and they don't even see what I am saying, because he made cuttings so that my full statements will not come.
Again, totally unjustified accusations against me. I wasn't cutting you off anywhere in your arguments. I was simply making the video short of the relevant section in which you were reading it wrong. You were not reading the Arabic language properly in the language of the Quran as it was on front of your screen. So it was nothing to do like I'm cutting you off in the middle as if I'm trying to misrepresent you in your arguments or strawmanning your argument. There was no argument being made. It's simply how bad you were in reading the text.
He made cuttings in such a way that my full statement, my full sentences will not appear. And that's exactly what he did. And in this segment, what I'm showing here, this segment, I was not even reading the word of the Quran. I was referring to the two words, yunsiha, nunsiha, who he forgets or who forgets, whatever, like how yunsiha, nunsiha has been used in the Quran.
Mhm.
But like how do you hear the Satan?
Okay, so let's just go back and remind everyone, indeed, whether he was simply not reading that text, but he was referring to some other words about he forgets and so on and so forth, right? Okay, this is a reminder, like this is in his original video, this is what he was reading. So let's focus on the things he said, and that will help everyone to now consolidate the understanding how dishonest individual he is. So it's not from this video onwards now, it's not about how he is very bad in the Arabic language. It's rather how dishonest and a lying individual he may be. So let's see.
Is going to use Allah's might, Allah's power to lead people astray. Let's go to point number 3. Satan is the one who makes people forget. Satan is the one who makes people forget. And when you see those who engage in blaspheming our signs, then disregard them until they emerge in another discord.
Until they emerge, it says until they're engaged. That's what I mean. He can't even read the text. But anyway, that's irrelevant. Let's continue listening to him.
But should Satan make you forget? Nun siha. Where is it? Yun sinannakum.
ينسينك.
So the base word is.
So you noticed it there clearly. So he's saying, oh, where is it? So he's trying to find it, and then he found the words, and he read it, and he read it wrong, and the app corrected him how the word is. Okay, so let's go back and rewind ourselves and focus on what he's saying. So he is directly trying to find what the word is here, trying to read it, saw the word, read it wrong, and then, of course, it becomes all clear that indeed he was reading the text as it's there in the screen, rather than reading something else, yunsiha and nunsiha, that he's trying to save his face from. Okay, so focus.
Yeah, where is it? Well,
Did you see? Where is it? Let's go a little bit further back.
then disregards them until they emerge in another discord. But should Satan make you forget, nun siha, where is it? Yun sinannaku.
ينسينك.
So the base word is nunsiha or yunsiha, that he causes you to forget. It is the job of the Satan to make you forget, so that you will not be able to distinguish between the right and the wrong. So Satan makes you forget. Brothers, do you know that in
Okay, so you've seen it all. So he's trying to find this word yunsiha, nunsiha, which he couldn't find. So he's scrolling the text and he's trying to find, is it this one? And he read that text and it wasn't yunsiha, nunsiha in there. It was some other word which he totally read it wrong. Even the app corrected him. So how clearly deceiving himself. I mean, this is the problem with people who lie so much, perhaps, they don't even know that they're lying to their own self, and let alone lying to the others. Okay. So he's established now, his so-called defense of mispronunciation out of the window. What a shame. Anyway, let's continue. Let's see whether his teacher, his mentor, does any better in defending him.
Read it, brother.
Oh, now we're going to listen to Mr. Dakdok, his mentor, supposed expert in the Arabic language, in his defense. So let's see whether he reads it. He reads the Arabic text any better. Focus and listen.
It is Allah is saying that shaitan makes you forget things.
Yeah. وإذ رأيت الذين يخوضون في آياتنا فأعرض عنهم حتى يخوضوا في حديث غيره وأما ينسينك الشيطان.
Did you hear that? Unbelievable. Someone who comes to defend him in the Arabic language, pretending to be an expert in the Arabic language, and perhaps perhaps he's a native speaker himself. يخوض في حديث غيره يخوض في حديث غيره not حديث غيره, and this is وإما ينسينك. And what did you read? Let's go back and listen to it again.
668. Read it, brother. It is Allah is saying that shaitan makes you forget things.
Yeah. وإذ رأيت الذين يخوضون في آياتنا فأعرض عنهم حتى.
Let's go back again.
So Satan makes you forget. Brothers, do you know 668? Read it, brother. It is Allah is saying that shaitan makes you forget things.
Yeah. وإذ رأيت الذين يخوضون في آياتنا فأعرض عنهم حتى يخوضوا في حديث غيره وأما ينسينك الشيطان.
وما ينسينك. He read وما ينسينك. I mean, what can I say? I mean, you bring people who are supposedly expert, can't even read the basic text that's there in the screen. وما ينسينك, he read. Even a 5-year-old who's learning Arabic language, not an Arab, when they read with the tashkil, with the vowels already placed in there, they're not going to read that. It's not wama yansiyannaka, it's wa imma yunsiyannaka. Such a different. This is, are you going to go and say this is a pronunciation mistake that you made, Mr. Dakdok, the expert? This has nothing to do with pronunciation. You simply cannot read the text yourself right. So what's there in the text in front of you? So maybe you can make the same mistakes again and again and say, you know what, this is all pronunciation. Actually, it's even getting worse. It gets worse as we go on later. Not only it's about all this claim about pronunciation, you further make a claim, which is something that people will really need to note. Okay, and I'm not going to say what you say, how to read. We will hear it from you later.
Satan causes him to forget. I can say it in English, forget about Arabic. I guarantee he does not know Arabic.
On this verse on the screen, And this is where nunsiha is. And I was referring to this verse.
By the way, that is a perfect pronunciation you said for that verse here.
Exactly. And
I wasn't even arguing or making any point about your pronunciation of the word nunsiha. It was the other word. I mean, how really with comprehension problem both of you have is unbelievable.
And so that's exactly what I'm saying. I was showing things in context. First, I showed chapter number 2, verse number 106. And I showed that Allah causes people to forget, right? And then I went to chapter number 6, verse number 68.
It is.
No, you did not. You did not show chapter 2, verse 106 first, and then you somehow lapsed in your memory, and then you're trying to find this word. Those people who are interested can have a look and see what you actually said. This isn't something that you said earlier. This is something that came later because that was in your original video. So now you're trying to save yourself by lying once again, being so dishonest to your audience, to your mentor, to your own self, to save your face from the mistakes and the lies that you make. I mean, at least be honest to yourself. That's all I can say. Have some sincerity and personal integrity. That will help. Because if you don't have this integrity, then nothing will be impossible for you to do. Will be with no shame and no, you know what? It's like when you have no shame, then people can do anything. And that's a clear example of what we're seeing.
Worse than people forget. People forget his word. That is, forget even if he caused him to a little bit get off, not forget. Yeah, I missed a little bit. How about his word? When Allah said no one can change the word of Allah, he himself causes people to forget it. For what purpose? To make fool of himself? What kind of God is that? Please, go ahead.
I don't know. So let me see. Hey, guys, anybody knows Mansur? Tell him I'm live. And I have put the link in the live chat for Mansur to join in so that he can tell us if my pronunciation is wrong. And I'm not saying that all of my pronunciations are right, but in this occasion, my pronunciation was correct.
That is exactly how you pronounce it, and it's perfect pronunciation. ننسيها وما ننسخ من آية أو ننسيها نأتي بخير منها أو مثلها. And
I mean, the level of the so-called experts and being an authority, it's like going down the drain. I mean, how many more examples do we need to see? The one here trying to defend himself from his total inadequacy, his incompetency in being an expert or being proficient in having direct access to the language of the Quran or reading it. He brings another so-called helper and a mentor to help him and aid him, to defend him. He himself, this mentor, I mean, obviously, clearly not an expert in any way, shape or form, as you have seen so far. He can't even read it right. Ma nansukh mithlaha. I mean, I'm not going to say like these people are making mistakes, just, occasional mistakes people read when they're reading it. He's consistently making mistake every time he reads the Quran, the language he claims to know, be masters of in that language, maybe a native speaker. So let's go back and see what exactly, just to focus those people who've missed it, what he read. So pay attention, people, and look at this word, manansakh min ayatin. Did he read the word ayatin or ayatun? And then mithlaha or mithliha, as it's in the text. The text says ma nansakh, not ma nansukh. And it's mithliha, not mithlaha. And let's see if there's any other mistakes he's making.
وَمَا نَنْسُخْ مِنْ آيَةٍ أَوْ.
Even gets worse. He added a letter there, a word, wa. He said, وَمَا نَنْسُخْ. It's getting worse by the second. Not by the minute, by the second. So he's reading here, clearly says ma nansakh, and he's reading wa ma nansukh. Okay, this is just a little bit further backwards. Okay, let's focus again.
Pronunciation was correct.
Exactly. That is exactly how you pronounce it, and it's perfect pronunciation. ننسيها وما ننسخ من آية أو ننسيها.
Min ayatun. So yeah, clearly he didn't read min ayatin. He's reading min ayatun. Okay, so making the tanween, the kasratan into dhammatan. Okay.
نأتي بخير منها أو مثلها. And
أو مثلها. Clearly. So wama, that's one mistake. Nansukh, two mistake. Ayatun, three mistakes. Mithliha, mithlaha, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm losing counts. In one small ayah, in less than few seconds, he's made 4 mistakes in reading. And you want to call yourself Mr. Dakdok, an authority in the Arabic language? I hear somewhere people are saying you've made a translation of the Quran. I mean, you can't even read the very basic text. I mean, your reputation has gone down the drain. Now you need to find another mentor for your own self, another so-called expert to defend you and the errors and the mistakes that you are making, Mr. Dakdok. So Mr. Sika is no longer relevant anymore. Now let's focus on you, Mr. Dakdok, supposedly a mentor and an expert who came to help your student. You now, being a very bad student, not able to read the very simple basic text, making several mistakes in one simple ayah, you need to find another mentor for your own self, another Arabic expert who can defend you and your errors that you're making, because you are not an authority. Clearly, you are not proficient in the Arabic language. You are someone who is as bad as Mr. Sika, or even worse.
the whole verse is that the original Quran for years and years did not have the dots nor the vowels. You can pronounce any verse however you like, and I'll give you some up. I said, Adam, you just read it right. Praise Allah, you did it right, man. MashaAllah.
Brother, you know what's going.
So now we realize, now the claim is made, you can read it the way you like. Doesn't matter how you read it, it's correct. And he's giving his thumbs up saying, Mr. Sika, doesn't matter how you read it, it's all correct. So this is the level of the integrity these so-called mentors and helpers and teachers and experts have in deceiving their students, who are in turn deceiving the very lay community who have no knowledge about what these people are saying. So basically saying you can read it any way you like. The Arabic of the past, there was no diacritical marks, there was no vowel points. So you can just simply read the way you like, even though what you're reading is actually fully vowelized with all this fatha, dhamma, kasra, zair, zabur, pesh. It's all there, but ignore all of that. Ignore all of that. Just read the way you like, because God, your God, has given you the license to read someone else's scripture the way you like and butcher it the way you like. Shameless individuals.
To happen now. He's
Yeah.
gonna watch this as well, because just like he watched my previous live stream, and he's gonna watch it, and then he's gonna make the cuttings. And he's, you know where he's gonna make the cutting? He will make the first cutting, say Usama saying, I'm saying Usama, born in the Middle East, he knows the Arabic, and then he will take that part, and then he will take the part where you said Rijalan Yuhi. See, Usama can't even pronounce you Nuhi. He's pronouncing Yuhi. See, and he's gonna make the same stupid argument. Problem. Here,
So, Mr. Sika prophesied, and his prophecy came to a failure, because I have said none of those things. And I'm not interested in saying these things, because this is not the meat of the subject. What we have seen is far, far worse. So not only you are very bad in your presentation of materials in someone else's scripture, but your so-called prophecies that you made with the aid, presumably with the Holy Spirit, has came to an utter failure. So people like Christians will question whether you indeed had the Holy Spirit helping you to prophesy, or it was the holy devil or someone else.
really messed up the Arabic. Here, I really messed up the Arabic. Check this out. So imagine here.
What were you reading?
What were you reading? I really messed up here somehow. I don't know what, really speaking, I don't know what happened. Here, I really messed up. I don't know how Did he actually change that? Change the word? My voice was somewhere else and my screen was somewhere else. I don't know.
Brother, I'm not going
Did he just put in the accusation that I did something? Come on, you're admitting here you messed up, okay? And you're laughing it away. I mean, you reading something totally blatantly wrong, not even wrong, you just make things up like a gibberish here, and now you're laughing and you're saying, oh, I just messed up here, I don't know what was happening. I mean, you didn't say that, whether I was on drugs or something like that. You didn't say that. But is this a defense? Really, sensible people, knowledgeable, intellectual, reasonable, rational people will consider that this is an acceptable justification for your blatant inadequacy? Seriously. And let's see what Mr. Dakdok, how he supports you on this one. Maybe he will say, yeah, of course, actually, let's have a look what he says. It gets even more interesting.
to defend you, but I'm going to tell you some truth. When we speak with passion, we speak fast. When we speak fast, we say stuff. And sometimes I record my radio programs every day for VCY. And I record it so good. And then I go edit it. Like, what did I say? I was going too fast. I couldn't even understand what I record by my own lips. So we talk fast, we talk with passion. So we talk fast, we talk with passion, and we see something wrong. So what? Let's read the verse. فَيَنْسُخُ اللَّهُ مَا يَلْقِي وَمَا يُلْقَى وما يلقي whatever ما يلقي الشيطان ثم يحكم آياته ثم يحكم الله آياته. Are you kidding me? It is not what you say. It is the subject of what you're talking. That is the problem. Problem is.
So what did we hear? So basically his defense is, don't worry, my beloved student. When we are passionate about what we're saying, when passion comes to us, we say things that we don't even realize what we are saying. Okay, that's the so-called, the Holy Spirit coming to you, isn't it? And making you say things in a different language, a different tongue. That's precisely what you're trying to imply, perhaps here. And it happens to you, Mr. Dakdok. Now we realize, why Christianity is really in a mess. No wonder. So what you are saying here is that in terms of when you come passionate about something, you can say things which totally is wrong, totally not what you're reading. You can't even read the basic thing in front of you in black and white with all the vowels. And this was your defense. Seriously. And then you started reading this ayah. You started reading what was there in the ayah, and you couldn't even read it. Yulqi, yalqa, yulqu. What is going on? It's there with the vowels. I mean, do you have to go to basic grade now to go open up the letters of the Arabic alphabet and how to read the Dhamma, Fatha, Kasra, which is there? I mean, I'm not going to recommend you one to go there, but I think seriously, Christian community will. They will say, you know what, Mr. Dakdok, you have to go back to the basics, go and find a suitable teacher, mentor, which you seriously need, and ask them to go to teach you back again the very basic alphabet and the very basic vowels. When the vowels are placed on the alphabet, is it a, or is it e, is it u, and so on and so forth. You could not even read it, what's there in front of the screen, and you say, oh, whatever, alqa, yulqi, yulqa, whatever. It's not whatever. It shows you how you are far away from being an authority in the Arabic language to your own community, let alone to everyone else. So if you have made a translation of the Quran, as I hear, maybe I had it wrong, then obviously it's going to be the most flopping book, whatever it's called. This word flop, yeah? Like no one's going to buy your book or read your book because someone who doesn't even know how to read what they're going to translate. What a joke.
Whatever. ما يلقي الشيطان ثم يحكم آياته ثم يحكم الله آياته.
ثم يحكم الله. So you even read without a word in there, miss the whole word when you're reading it. I mean, that is how bad it is.
Are you kidding me?
Yes, I am.
It is not what you say. It is the subject of what you're talking. That is the.
No, it is important what you say, because if you cannot see it, say it right, then obviously what are you saying then? What are you talking about? Meaning? Oh, I'm saying you read the word banana in there. Oh, it doesn't matter what you read. If you read a banana or an apple in the text, it's important what you're trying to understand. Banana is not a banana. It's about alqa yulqi. How serious these people can be in their evangelizing. by their deception. Unbelievable.
Problem is فينسخ الله ما يلقي الشيطان.
I'm reading something and he's making fun of the reading. He never even touched the subject, and it's just
He
a
will
cutting of
not.
4.5 minutes.
هذا
That's it. No. You need to understand before you answer. You need to understand. So my pronunciation is not
Change the
accurate.
subject. Change the subject. You pronounce it wrong, you lost your point. Wow.
And there is
So this is the comprehension of his mentor here, Mr. Dakdok. This has had nothing to do with pronunciation, as you have realized. I'm sure you're going to watch this video because your teachers and your students will send this video to you saying, what have you done here? You have totally damaged your reputation as an authority. What are we going to do now? We have to find someone else because you have lost all credibility.
no plural of mutakabbir.
Here, interesting. So because he made a huge blunder in first video when he went to this channel of the cartoon character, that mutakabbir and mustakbirin, he's saying one is the plural of the other. So now he's going to ask Mr. Dakdok, what did I get it wrong? What is the plural? And we will see how Mr. Dakdok helps him or corrects him on that.
There's no plural of mutakabbir.
Adam, let me tell you something else. If I'm writing by hearing what you said, let me say it again. If I'm writing the word al-mustakbirin, al-mustakabbirin, believe me, it will be written in the same way. If I'm hearing it from you, because you pronounce it different, but it is written the same.
So instead of saying that he got it all wrong, the plural is not mustakbirin or mustakabbirin. He is defending by saying it doesn't matter. If it was written in this way, I could read it in both ways. But the question was not that, Mr. Dakdok, with a very little comprehension issue or very big comprehension issue. He was asking you about the plural. Was it the plural or not? Is that the correct one or not? And perhaps you understood his question, and you being so disingenuous and very fraud yourself, you went into a different tangent rather than answering the question, as if people would not notice. But people have noticed.
Thank you so very much. I thank you for acknowledging it. But brother, I am a humble person as well. Allah Mukta, he is the deceiver.
Mukta, what kind of word is that from Kaid? So now I even said the mukta that he's trying to say is from this word kaid. Here it's an opportunity for an honest individual who has knowledge of Arabic language to say, yeah, this is the right, what you said was wrong. This is not, mukta is not the word, and it doesn't come from kaid. He will correct it. But let's see whether he has the intellectual integrity, Mr. Dakdok, whether he has the intellectual integrity to actually correct him.
And Satan is the deceiver as well.
Where do you get that from? You're just making your own words and own terms and own derivatives.
So this is that's kind of a summary where I'm going to the 7th point, that Allah is a Satan. But so he's picking up all the words that I'm pronouncing wrong, and that's perfectly fine.
It's like personal attack. He's not talking about the problem of Allah and the problem of the Quran and the problem of Muhammad. He's talking about that guy from Pakistan does not speak very good Arabic. Wow, we got him. What do we got? He does not pronounce these words right. So what about the problems with Allah and Muhammad and the Quran? Forget about it. We have a problem. Bigger problem. What? Adam does not know how to pronounce these words accurate in the Arabic language. We got him.
Yes.
So now you see, instead of correcting him, instead of him showing he has some integrity, saying, okay, that wasn't the case, he went in a different tangent saying, I was simply attacking the person of Mr. Seeker and only claiming that he knows very bad pronunciation. What a shameless individual. You have lost all your credibility of integrity, Mr. Dakdok, when you had the opportunity in front of your audience to present yourself like you are really someone who knows the language. You didn't correct him. Instead, you're defending him as if I am the one making personal attack. I'm not making personal attack. I'm simply saying that he can't read things right. Neither can you, Mr. Dakdok, as it will be obvious to your community now.
So the app is trying to correct his mistakes. like the first segment when I was showing, I wasn't even stating the word. I was talking about nuncia of a previous verse.
No, you are not. You have been exposed again with your lies.
And they picked up this stuff like that. I think make a refutation on what I showed, not on my pronunciation.
Not interested. Why? Because you don't deserve for any reputation. You're nobody. You're just having some fans who are as ignorant as you are, perhaps, or they may be knowledgeable than you, perhaps, but they're simply letting you go and they're having the fun. Okay, so that shows their intellectual integrity or the lack of it, and that also shows how they're not interested in the truth. They're only interested in a rhetorician like yourself with no knowledge of the subject matter going and trying to present yourself as an authority. That's what it is. I have no interest in dealing with people like that and the arguments.
My son, Mansur, rather my illegitimate son, Mansur, beta, listen to me.
You people do far worse. Insulting our Allah, insulting our Prophet. I should feel more anger for that rather than insulting me and my family. This is an advice to you, Mr. Seeker. Keep on seeking the truth, leaving aside these kind of insults, because these insults would not draw the Muslims to your religion in any way, shape, or form. As they have just seen what you just said about me, they will feel perhaps a greater anger, and they would never consider your religion to have any speck of truth because of the way you behave. Instead of simply admitting your mistakes, instead of simply saying that, I didn't know how to read properly, you went into call someone and insulting like this. So you have such a lack of intellectual maturity that speaks volumes. So carry on seeking the truth, and God, Allah, will guide the people who sincerely repent from their sins and come back to Him with all sincerity and integrity and willingness to return to Allah. So let this be an example for everyone who would not fall for the lies, would not fall for the rhetoric as we have seen, but rather they will be critical thinking and ask and question everything a non-Muslim apologist brings on the table, and they will question until they have verified that what they have said has any truth in them. I have done previous videos exposing clearly like this. People came in the park and talked about how they're talking about, all this things about Warsh texts which had no knowledge of basic language, but they were nobody. But they brought experts and I exposed them, even how their experts, like today, had no knowledge of the language themselves and pretending to be an authority. And then I also showed even an academic, Brubaker, if you haven't seen it, how he can't even read the manuscripts and claiming to be an expert in the Quranic manuscripts. So let it be a lesson for everyone that we Muslims need to be critical thinking. We need to control our anger. We need to go beyond what is attacked us personally, but try to show to the people that Islam doesn't need defending because it is the truth, it is clear, and it's obvious. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين.